All right, if you're a dad or a guy that's truly trying to balance everything from work to stress to job to traveling, and you just feel like you're always gaining and losing the same 10 pounds, this video is for you. The ones that truly need to figure out a way to succeed, but just have yet to figure that out. But in their mind, oh, I got this. This is for you. So meet Bill. Bill's like a lot of the guys. Like I used to be an athlete, used to be someone that was always fit, and life happens, right? You get 30, you've got kids, you get married, you get jobs, then you have the demands of the world on your shoulders where it just slips and then becomes harder and then you can't, and then the mind starts making excuses, right? Or I don't have the time. That's when you need the handcrafted, personalized coaching. And Bill came in, and he's actually in his second round with me. Did his first year, dropped 50 pounds, and now he's back into it because his gut now is where I want to be focusing on, which is why we're going to talk about the entire process of what really has to happen. So Bill's like most guys, right? He came in, he literally woke up, shoved a pot of coffee down, and just let work stress eat him alive, where it just became survival mode. How many of you guys out there just feel like that every day you're just trying to survive, not thrive? And then you become the more complacent where you just settle, where this is good enough, and it becomes hard. That was Bill. But then he became so anxious, so very much so on edge, where he became then kind of reactive and then tired all the time, even when he was getting 9 hours of sleep. So what happens? Let's talk about that, right? What really happens for that to be where you're at whenever he still was trying on his own? Well, let's look at this. The thing that people don't realize is when you are in your 30s, when you're in your 40s, the things that don't work anymore are what you're trying to do, right? If you're an athlete, you probably were trying to go to the gym, hit compounds every day, cut calories down, bang out some Red Bulls and some caffeine, hit the gym. And this only works for a hot minute before your body says, whoa, we ain't 20 anymore. And that's where, whenever you start seeing how we work in Revive to help check boxes off, your body will start changing. And that's because of stacking small wins, completing things, completing tasks. And I'll even show you in his actual account how we see and do tasks from his actual page. We have everything lined up from things that I need him to do, test, understand, and then even in his overview here, you can see that we always will do our metrics and get into the nitty-gritty of helping the client understand what has to happen for them to succeed. Here's the reality, is your nutrition is going to become the first part of this success. So what I did first with his meals is we went into a low inflammatory state. So in the first part of my process of my program, I'm going to pull inflammation. Why? Because the reality is a lot of you guys are so hyped up on trying to take supplements or injections or peptides or the newest rage fat burner or the coolest equipment in your gym, but you're forgetting that if your body's inflamed, nothing is going to progress. So that's why whenever we first dial that in, getting inflammation out, whether I go into a bacterial flush or we work into low FODMAP, or whether I cycle calories in with stress reduction activity, you will find most of my men do less, eat more, drop more weight in phase one. Amazing, right? Because we don't have time to be spending hours in the gym and banging out all these supplements whenever you can't focus on first reducing stress so that the stuff can get into the system and work, because inflammation will cause nothing to work. So once we did that, we started to really balance out his adrenals by dropping caffeine down to start pumping in more adaptogens to help support the adrenal function. So oftentimes men jacked up on caffeine completely drain out their adrenals because it's pumping cortisol. Too much, too often is going to really, it's going to lead to your evidential pitfall where your body just says, whoa, I've got nothing left. And then it's like crying wolf, right? Oh, I need it, but I can't get it. Well, then your body goes into this mode of pulling inflammation, and driving adrenaline too much is going to then have blood sugar dysregulation, high inflammation, high stress, anxiety, and then your body can't let go of weight then that leads to the inevitable plateau. But what do guys do? They go harder, right? They diet more because something's not working. Well, that's where my program addresses it. So that's why this is the thing that really does not work. When you start then understanding how I cycle your nutrition with your training, that becomes imperative. So ditching a lot of the HIIT workouts and ditching a lot of high intense cardio and adding in things that are sustainable. Why? Because that's what got Bill to want to show up when he's like, dude, all I needed was 30 minutes and that's what got my body to this state. Holy cow, I can do that again. But if you're having to coax yourself to go do some boot camp and HIIT workouts and then cut carbs out, that's only going to lead to the eventual, I need some pizza in my life. So that's why whenever we work synergistically with your nutrition, there's going to be periods where we feed you up. There's periods where we drop you down. There's periods where I work on volume and intensity and power cycles versus strength cycles, where we go into drop sets versus maybe we go to straight sets, where maybe I go to compound and supersets. Maybe we go to local lactic. These strategies are all intermittently twined with how your body needs to be at that certain time in your life. Got a busy season? Well, you sure dang well don't be needing to do some high intense workouts on top of that cutting calories out, which is probably what you're doing because you're stressed out. So it creates the inevitable cycle. So whenever I can play with autophagy, whether we go into some intermittent fasting, some 4-2-1s, this can be seriously essential to helping you progress. And then whenever you start seeing the results and seeing that you can do this, what's that create? Oh, now we've got discipline. And that's what it did for Bill. He became dialed. It became a thing where if he missed a workout, it was truly because the guy was near death sick or had something with his family. Because the thing is the more disciplined you become, the more structure is allowed in your life. So once you start seeing how successful you can be, that's how you start seeing through our 4F series, where I flush, feed, function, fast, and start truly optimizing the body to be able to be built on a basically cement pad that's not coming down, because too many times guys build their houses on sand, which leads to the inevitable pitfall. So when I shift this and I tweak it and we start customizing things for you using optimization, right? Daily feedback, whether we do into the use of my licenses for ordering testing, labs, Dutch cellulars, we figure you out. So that way I can be my best source of information to progress you through to your ultimate goal. So it never goes backwards. Then what we do is we get feedback, right? Weekly on calls. Every single time you need help, your coach is there. You get members access to all of our guidance, all of our community support, and that's what you're going to get within our coaching app to help with clear demonstrations, monitoring your progress, helping with your goals, keeping you on task for even your habits, like your nighttime routines, right? They are important if you're up on screens, but I remind you of these things. And also, I dive deep because I'm a man of faith. They also want you to lead in scripture and in family first. So that's where I always put my big focus on helping you become a better man so you can become a better leader, a better role model. So ultimately, those around you are lifted up. And when I can lift other people up from your work, I did my job. So your next plan is, if you're looking for it, you got to step up. Step up for yourself. Step up for your family. And that's what really my job does. So whether you want fully customized nutrition, whether you want fully customizable programs, helping you even build out your gyms, because I've built one from the ground up for 12 years, owned one, got into now coaching for 8, licensed in functional medicine, love my job because I am good at playing detective to figuring out what works best. So stop wasting time. Stop hiring people that don't have something in their educational knowledge, but also practical application of working with people for years to know that what you need is that one-on-one service, education, and man behind the scenes getting you to that goal. So what are you waiting for? If that's you, book your call and let's get going.